be live. Let's make sure that's actually the case. Over on Rumble, of course, where I see the Copium Poppies have already commented. Buy our new free Ghislaine shirt, available now at copiumpoppies.com. That's what I'm talking about. And Harrison Bergeron, my dog just teabagged my other dog. Interesting. I didn't know that was something that generally happened, actually. Johnny Depp saying fuck you to Hollywood, apparently. I thought that was funny, given the state of other legal cases. I thought that I would weigh in on that. Giant flightless bird is next target for de-extinction company Colossal Biosciences. You'll remember them as the company that technically kind of sort of de-extincted the direwolf. Yes, they ran direwolf genetics through into a gray wolf population and effectively made them de-extinct. They're now trying to do it with the moa bird, actually. I support this, although, again, like before, you'd have to put them with like an ostrich population or something like that and attempt to get them behavioralized. Otherwise, they'll be sad and lonely and they'll be zoo exhibits. So this is one of my problems with de-extinction. We'll get into that, don't worry. Justice Jackson shows judicial abandon in lone dissent on Trump layoff ruling. Yes, Trump is allowed to, believe it or not, lay off federal workers. Oh my God, what a revelation. It's not like that hasn't happened before. But Ketanji didn't get the memo. Even the other liberal justices voted in favor of this 8-1 ruling. Ketanji was the only dissent. So that's rather interesting now, isn't it? Flesh-eating maggots are inching towards the U.S. The battle plan? Bomb them with radiation-treated flies. Yes, they're attempting to do the sterile insect male thing. This actually is not Frankenscience, by the way. This has been done before, as the article explains. In fact, I think they were doing it as early as the 1970s. So this is not Bill Gates' science. This is actually a good idea. Archaeologist unearths mysterious Christian settlement hidden away for centuries. Yeah, this is from the Byzantine era, over in Jordan, actually. And it is fascinating. Not only does it have a church, it also has an oil press for olive oil, actually. The DOJ is now investigating Comey and Brennan, officially. That's an interesting story. And then we have actually, that wasn't on the docket. That was another story that I covered. It was about cordyceps, the idea of using fungus, actually, as a kind of biowarfare, actually. Unfortunately, it is possible that they could actually pull this off. Engineer cordyceps or use the DNA blueprint to develop something else. It passes from person to person, kills 99% of the world's population. Unfortunately, it's virtually inevitable that some group at some time will gain the funds necessary to do this, even if a state actor is not involved. You know, it could be a suicide cult. It could be a mad scientist, quite literally. Something like that. We're doomed. Thankfully, these temporal bodies mean absolutely nothing. Tarred and feathered, Sticks, finally on. I've been checking this channel every 10 minutes for this 6 hours. Goodness. I've been awake since 2:30 in the morning, actually. Well, I was awake for a while, then passed out for a couple of hours due to exhaustion, then woke back up. 92 Cat. She saw Grok graping Will Stansel and said, I'm out. Huh. Bobby Bobinson is now joining on Rumble. Goodness. Last Beacon is telling me to do drugs. This is a relatively normal day so far, by the way. Cocaine and cocaine accessories. Last Beacon, snort coke, snort coke, snort coke. Yeah, and I've never actually seen cocaine other than possibly that time when I was in jail. That was definitely a reminder of how screwy human civilization is. I'm pretty sure it was coke. Could have been some other intoxicating substance. I'm not 100% sure, actually. Yeah, and then there were the dudes smoking weed in the cell. And I'm like, you do realize that was probably up someone's ass at some point, but, you don't care, I guess. Copium poppies, do drugs, but don't let drugs do you. Will Gooding, Sticks, did you know that Kurt Cobain and Tony Hawk now have a mutual grandson? Ronan Walker Cobain Hawk. No, I didn't, actually. It's interesting. Skip this. In a jail in NOLA, probably meth. I didn't even know you could snort meth. Never seen that either. I don't know what sort of substance he was using, dude, but it was some sort of powdery substance that he had clearly smuggled in. And the sheriff at the other end of the room didn't seem to notice or care. Shows you the state of the prisons in the United States. I wanted to get to Johnny Depp first, then we'll shout out the sponsors really quick. Johnny Depp said, "Fuck you" to Hollywood as Amber Heard allegations derailed his career. Apparently, his literal line was, here, I'll read some of this verbatim because it's hilarious. I am dressed, of course, as Jack Sparrow for a reason. Well, Jack Sparrow-ish, at least. It literally stopped in a millisecond, like when I was doing the movie, Depp told The Telegraph. They said we'd like you to resign, but what was really in my head was they wanted me to retire. He responded, "Fuck you, there's far too many of me to kill. If you think you can hurt me more than I've already been hurt, you're gravely mistaken." Depp explained why he chose to fight back against Heard's allegations in what turned out to be one of the most watched celebrity trials. "I fought it because, had I not, then I wouldn't have been me," he told the outlet. "Of course everyone tells you don't do it, you're crazy." The Charlie and the Chocolate Factory star noted the lie Heard told was beginning to be the deciding factor on whether he had the ability to make movies in Hollywood. "Fuck you," Depp added. Oh God, I love this man. I'm sorry, but I've got to give massive credit to Johnny Depp. When you say, like, just fuck it. It reminds me of Billy Corgan that time that he went to Disneyland, right? And he went on a bunch of rides and shit. And he looked miserable the whole time. He never really smiled or anything like that. And the press came to him and said, like, why aren't you smiling? Why aren't you laughing? And he says, "What the fuck do you want from me?" Oh man, I thought that was the greatest thing I've ever seen. Amber Heard is fucked in the ass, literally and figuratively. I mean, I'm sure she's a good lay. She's very attractive. But sometimes the devil has dimples. Let's put it that way. A play on an old Vermont saying. Dimple outside, devil inside. It's a good thing to remember, dudes out there. Just saying. But yeah, Billy Corgan looked miserable that time at Disneyland. And they tried to query him, and he's like, fuck off, basically. Now, Johnny Depp's like, fuck off, too. He's had his run with the legacy media. I've had the same experience to a microcosmic level myself. The legacy media will come in and interview you and pretend to be your friend. It's sort of a little bit like when you're talking to the police. If the media has come to talk to you, it's probably for malintent. Unless you're doing, like, parishioners' work or something like that, like building houses for the homeless or something like that, then probably you can get away with it. Otherwise, you probably shouldn't talk to these morons. It's just a little bit of advice. Amber Heard has the "I'm sultry and cute, but I'm fucking psycho" sort of look to her. Sigil, next week Elon will be saying Amber Heard is in the Epstein files. It's possible, Don't underestimate the lifestyles of the rich and vapid. Cygnus, there is no conviction appeal, actually. I'm going to be sentenced, actually, in 5 days. Via Zoom call. Cindy Drellick, I just wanted to say hi to Jack Sparrow. Arr, I haven't seen your channel for months, but I'm back now and glad to be back with you and the other clankers. I have missed your content, Sticks. Thank you. Sending about $100, by the way. Thank you very much. Yeah. I will keep making content until the day that I'm in the grave. Let's put it that way. Well, maybe I'll make content from beyond the grave. You know, I might have some posthumous videos that are lined up in private at the moment that are to be uploaded upon my death. Just saying. Yeah, Bobby has now moved to Rumble for some reason. Putz, there will be an Oregon Trail stream. Do not worry. I guarantee that it will be done probably today. One thing that I've got to do, though, I've got to do a test. Because the online version is a little bit different. And if I were to, like, download it and run it locally, I would have to, like, use DOSBox or something like that in order to actually stream it. It's going to be fun. Oh, I love Oregon Trail. I'm hoping to do a really, really hard campaign. Well, first I'll do a test campaign. Just to go through, make sure that the game is working properly in its online iteration. And then I'm going to try to do about the hardest campaign that you can do. School teacher with 5 pupils or orphans or whatever you would call them in the earliest possible year at the worst time of year with very, very limited supplies and no additional skills. I managed to do that once and ran up that score like a motherfucker. But I've never managed to do it again. I'm going to try. I may fail. Could be that I die. Could be that my students die. How sad. And, you know, you can eat them too, so it's not really a big problem. Groomer Fist, you are fundamentally incorrect. Just saying. There are a lot of fanfics about me online saying that I'm like a wife beater and shit like that. I've gotten used to it. It happens to everyone. If you've got any audience at all, you know. Bobby, Styx is gonna fuck Amber Turd next. I can admire the fact that she is conventionally attractive without wanting to be in any form of romantic situation with her. That would be a bad idea. I don't have a feeling that would go over very well. Especially since I stubbornly resist any form of control or coercion, and she seems to be the controlling and coercing type. That wouldn't work out. She'd pay me as a whore, I suppose, but that probably wouldn't work out either. Considering that she's not got any income at the moment, I think. Michael, this stream is great because it's like being on the internet in 2007 when you can say and do almost anything. Yeah, you can say anything you want in chat. Majestic, Oregon Trail was the shit. I love that game. I had the fancy wooden box version with the cloth map. I like Oregon Trail too. It's exquisite. They did a perfect job on it. They should re-release it, remastered and shit like that. Instead, they made Oregon Trail 3, and they made it like 3D. That was for the GameCube, if I remember correctly. And it was nothing like the original games. It had nothing to do with them. Bobby, Styx, did you get my Twitter DM? I'm an Indian man on Twitter. I haven't checked my DMs yet, but I'll check them later. Oh, God. Let's get to our sponsors first, though, shall we, before we get to more news. We have cultivated-mind.com, where you can get mushroom pills that will invigorate you. I took mine this morning. That's why, of course, despite my insomnia and getting woken up at 2:30, I'm actually capable of working. It's quite wonderful. You can also get doggo snacks from them as well. They're in high demand because the doggos really, really like them. Trust me, I've seen it. When the dog sits there and stares at the bag for half an hour, you know it's probably tasty. We've got BiltongUSA.com, the home of Anton's meat, as well as Bovrite, Vegemite, Marmite, and many other things. I'll be eating a little bit of that later, by the way. Styx, Hex, and Hammer cups, tumblers, and shirts are available as well. He's got you covered with Wagyu, Angus, Cabanassi. He's got bison and venison and basically every meat that you could possibly want. Hell, I think that he should make a gator biltong. He's probably be the first person to do that. It'd be a great idea, I think. Then finally, jamandbean.com. I love this. Oh, it smells so good. Clanker Blend, jamnbean.com. You can get teas, you can get coffees, you can get all sorts of stuff from Jam and Bean. And I've got plenty of it. I'm going to be brewing up a big pot of tea later for the leftovers. We got from a restaurant, actually, locally, an Asian restaurant. I get General Tso's chicken, of course. There's some lo mein. There's wonton soup. So, you know, you've got your full meal there. But you need a little bit of black tea with that. And thankfully, Jam and Bean has the Yunnan Jin, actually. And so that's available. Here, let me check my Twitter DMs. If Bobby Bobbinson actually... it's probably on the requested list. It may or may not load. It can be a bit of a problem. I've got tons and tons. I've got about 30 message requests and about 20 main messages. I'll have to get to that later. Sorry, Bobby. Yeah, Bobby, they're not going to put me in jail. That's not going to happen. Sigil, so thoughts on Twitter's WF CEO quitting right after Grok did some noticing? Yeah, I think that they misprogrammed it slightly, and somebody got in trouble. Somebody has to take the fall. Personally, I find it hilarious. Bobby. I'm not Bobby on Twitter, I'm Pajit. Sometimes, though, Twitter doesn't even show, actually, the name of the person. Sometimes there's not even a photo. It's got glitch problems. And also, I'm a member of a number of groups that constantly there's posting going on there. Rabies Awareness Gang, and so forth. Let me see. Oh, for the love of God. I get so many goddamn messages. Mexican Trumper, I'm Grok, takes a new meaning. Lol. Haha. Yeah, you wouldn't believe the number of messages that I get. Ah, excellent. Here, just give me a second. Nice. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, it's difficult to go through my messages because I just get so many of them. So on a normal day, this is a normal day, I'll get several dozen message requests, and I'll get at least several dozen main messages from people that I've already accepted messages from. And it becomes a little bit much because I've also got to monitor my email, I've got to do my videos, the live stream, and then I actually do have a life, believe it or not, so it's a little bit difficult. I don't have staffers. One tall order. Penis ponticulus. Penis meticulous. Wearing my clown shoes, I'm penis ridiculous. Penis scary. Put my penis in penis Jerry. Agent P is penis Perry. Sword fighting with my schlong. I penis Perry. Stick it in Gary's shell. Now he's penis Gary Raw Dog Tinkerbell. She's a penis fairy. I have no clue what that refers to, by the way, everyone, but it sounds fun. Spider Eternal, the only authentic Polish deli within 100 miles of me is closed. It was a family-owned store that survived Biden's term, but unfortunately too much damage was done. Real bummer. That really does suck. Went to a Polish restaurant in New York City not long ago and had borscht, actually, and trust me, it was delicious. Everything there was delicious, actually. Yeah, New York City is definitely an island of food paradise. Skip this. I've never played Oregon Trail, but I moved to Oregon Coast. So far, no signs of pirate treasure, just meth and rednecks. Use a metal detector. You probably will end up finding something. I found all sorts of shit when I was using just a little kid's, like, metal detector in the green in Vermont, in Woodstock. And I found, like, earrings, coins, all sorts of stuff. The metal detector paid for itself in a couple of days, actually. I swept the whole area. It's pretty funny. Yeah, I guess some borscht. Copium Poppies. Everyone DM Sticks and remind him to watch Freddy Got Fingered. Don't worry, I know to watch the movie. Sigil. Panis. Sigil. Don't watch Freddy Got Fingered. Watch Snooping as Usual. I see the Pingus reference there, by the way. I'm not stupid. Yeah, no, if you go to coastal regions and you use a metal detector, if it's any good, you'll find all sorts of crazy shit, because people lose, like, rings and stuff like that all the time. Somewhere in Silver Lake, actually, there's a ring in the sediment. My dad told me about this. Somebody had lost their wedding ring, actually, in the sediment, and, of course, they couldn't find it, and so by now, 30 years later or so, it's been completely buried, and it's still sitting there somewhere. Probably intact. Giant flightless bird is next target for de-extinction company Colossal Biosciences. They've raised, by the way, hundreds of millions of dollars for this. They managed to revive dire wolves. Now, there's a caveat to this. They bootstrap the genetics of the dire wolf and its characteristics over regular old gray wolves. So it's not technically full-on de-extinction. It's the modification of a template existing life form, so to speak, with the genetics of a past species that no longer exists. I would assume this is what they're going to do with the MOA. Genetic engineering startup Colossal Biosciences has added the South Island giant moa, a powerful long-necked species that stood 10 feet tall and may have kicked in self-defense, to a fast-expanding list of animals it wants to resurrect by genetically modifying their closest living relatives. The company stirred widespread excitement as well as controversy when it announced the birth of what it described as 3 dire wolf pups in April. Colossal scientists said they had resurrected the canine predator last seen 10,000 years ago by using ancient DNA, cloning, and gene editing technology to alter the genetic makeup of the gray wolf, in a process the company calls de-extinction. Similar efforts to bring back the woolly mammoth, the dodo, and the thylacine, better known as the Tasmanian tiger, are also underway. I am strongly in support of de-extinction, because in many cases, humans were responsible for the extinction in the first place. Well, then it makes sense to de-extinct them. They may not be identical to the ancient species, but it's a close approximation. We could probably sequence it and with better technology literally bring them back from the dead. The problem being, if you bring back a giant ground sloth, is there anything that can possibly act as a parent and impart behavior on that particular animal, or will it simply, go crazy? It would probably go crazy from loneliness more than anything else. By bringing back multiple dire wolves, they would probably act about the same as gray wolves. They'll interbreed with them and so forth. And so that makes sense. You could do the same with a mammoth. Elephants still exist. They would gain their behavior from them. Or mastodons or something like that. Same with the saber-toothed tiger. I want to bring the saber-toothed tiger back. I don't know why that's not on their list. And the dodo only went extinct a little while ago anyway, so just bring them back. They were known as dumb birds to begin with. Just resurrect them. Bobby is obsessed with my feet and me going to jail. Sigil are more violent? Yeah, apparently they were. Aggressive? Any particular reason they keep producing dangerous biological abominations instead of making something like a super fluffy bunny or dog that lives for 80 years? Yeah, they were apparently aggressive, and probably still. It's sort of like an ostrich, an oversized ostrich. And you'd probably have to raise them with ostriches, actually. And that would be relatively interesting. Imagine you mix the aggression of the ostrich, which is considerable, by the way, with a bird that is considerably larger and more powerful and can literally crack a person's skull open. Yeah, it sounds like a Jurassic Park scenario, but it's actually realistic. I never thought when I was a kid watching Jurassic Park that this sort of thing would be possible, but it is. Mike the Wop, clank motherfuckers, ordered your new book. I have a feeling it's going to have a Freddy got fingered humor. Oh, God. Probably more entertaining than that, actually. I had a great time writing Nutty Norman. Yeah, bring back the Dodo because apparently they were very, very tasty. And so I can imagine people paying like $500 a plate for Dodo souffle or something like that. Oh, Bobby mentioned Bovright. Anytime Bovright and Anton are mentioned, gotta do it. That's what I'm talking about. Bovright makes an excellent soup base, by the way. Just one spoonful in your broth. Guarantee you, I swear to you that it will improve the soup. Sigil feels like they keep reviving these things to metaphysically revert the Earth to a pre-human state as part of a human extinctionalist cult, like manifest the conditions of the past to erase humanity. No, I think it's just people toying with science, actually. I don't think that this is malevolent. Trust me, I'd tell you if I got that sense. In this case, it's something that I've been interested in since I was... Oh, the mail came. As a small child, after I watched Jurassic Park, basically. Kobe and Poppy, speaking of Jurassic Park, just saw the new one the other day, best one since Lost World. Oh. I guess I'll have to fucking see it. Lunar eclipse. Sticks. What if Trump had Epstein murdered? He would not have been in a position to do so, actually, at the time. Broken Prophet. How do you know what Dodo tastes like? Well, we've got reports from people in the fairly contemporary sense. Apparently, they were very dim-witted and did not readily escape from getting shot with a musket or even just getting strangulated, and tasted a bit like chicken. I know that's an old adage, but apparently that's pretty much what they taste like. Sigil, dude, everything they make is violent and destructive. It is malevolent. Well, I believe in de-extincting species that were mainly destroyed by humans. So again, direwolf, mammoth, saber-toothed tiger, cave bears, things like that. I believe in bringing them back. The only thing, ethically speaking, that I have a problem with is the idea of only bringing like one or two back and then they're lonely and stuff like that. I think that they should be brought back in batches, and I fully support the research. Also, once we get a breeding population going, can you imagine how funny it would be to be able to eat mammoth meat? A few researchers have actually had that privilege. When they dig them out of the cold, a very, very small number of people have had the privilege of actually sampling the meat. I mean, it basically falls apart because it's been refrigerated for, 15,000 years or something, but they have eaten it. And apparently it's basically tasteless mush at that point. Just a bunch of flakes. I can imagine that's a lot of freezer burn. Turley, Justice Jackson shows judicial abandon in lone dissent on Trump layoff ruling. Yes, this was an 8-1 ruling, so almost unanimous. Ketanji decided that she was not a fan of the concept that the president could void the employment of people that were hired by the executive branch. For some odd reason, she dissented from this decision. Makes absolutely no sense, by the way. It is quite clear, and 8 of the 9 justices agreed with this basic supposition. It's fairly clear that if the judicial branch is overseeing an agency, it has the right to fire people within the agency. It does not need approval from any third party because it's being managed by the executive branch. Ketanji is completely oblivious to this, apparently, which doesn't surprise me. I mean, she was a Biden appointee. So, the surprise is lacking on this particular story. If Congress incepts a bureau, generally Congress gets to decide, does the bureau continue? What's its budget? Does this employee get canned? Stuff like that. If it is given over to the executive branch, though, and they're the ones maintaining it, who better to make firing decisions than the President of the United States? He's the head of the goddamn executive branch itself. It's self-explanatory. Only one justice on the Supreme Court, deviating even from the other 3 liberal justices, Roberts and so forth. I consider him a liberal justice, by the way. Deviating from them, only one individual said, well, this is terrible. This is a horrible miscarriage of justice. I looked at this article and I was laughing my ass off. Ketanji keeps doing this. Although I will say, there is one thing that I can say in Ketanji's defense. And some of you won't like the fact that I defend her on any grounds. She is a suitable replacement for her predecessor, who really, really liked to talk, enjoyed his role on the court, and frequently cross-examined for extensive periods of time. She is a good replacement for him, actually. This will be an unpopular opinion, probably, among some of you. She should not be on the Supreme Court. She is not qualified, quite clearly, in the constitutional sense. But, behaviorally speaking, she's sort of a suitable replacement when you really think about it. Which is weird, actually. Sigil, I don't support this research. It looks like fair but feels foul. Bad juju all over it. I disagree with you, Sigil, on that one. Justice Brown should have been Judge Joe Brown. Yeah. Mike the Wop, I imagine the Dodo was an easy target partly because they weren't used to humans and were flightless. Not necessarily a low IQ. They survived a long time. You don't get that with being dumb. Well, they had no natural predators. That's the whole thing. All the resources on the island, they were, technically speaking, they were apex in many of the zones in which they were found. Because there was nothing to eat them. There were no carnivores, no large carnivores that were going to predate upon them until humans arrived. When humans did arrive, they said, oh, look at these weird bipedal creatures. I'm going to go and lay in the sun. Boom. Then the musket shot hits them. And they quickly were exhausted. It didn't take very long. Bobby Bobbinson. There's some bad juju going on right now. I get the reference. Flesh-eating maggots are inching towards the U.S. The battle plan? Bomb them with radiation-treated flies. Now, this is kind of a science experiment, but it's been done before. In fact, since the 1970s. What you do, and Bill Gates has been engaged in this, and when he's involved, ironically, of course, I'm a little bit more concerned. When mainstream scientists, those that are actually involved with real science, are engaged with it, I worry a little bit less. For some decades, we have been dropping sterile male mosquitoes and flies and so forth in various areas in order to impregnate the females, and then they don't mate anymore, and they give birth to sterile offspring. So there is no actual brood that commences from them. And it's worked. It actually has worked very well. While I don't trust Bill Gates and people like that to carry out such a program, generally speaking, I agree with the basic concept. So they're going to bombard parts of Central and South America with millions and millions, legions of sterile males. they'll fuck the females, but they won't actually have any viable eggs. And that will stop this from happening. Hundreds of millions of flies dropping from planes in the sky might sound like a horrible nightmare, but experts say such a swarm could be the livestock industry's best defense against a flesh-eating threat poised to invade the southwestern border of the United States. An outbreak of New World screwworms, the larval form of a type of fly that's known to nest in the wounds of warm-blooded animals and slowly eat them alive, has been spreading across Central America since early 2023, with infestations recorded in Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala, Belize, and El Salvador. Most Central American countries haven't seen an outbreak in 20 years. The fly reached southern Mexico in November, sparking concern among U.S. agricultural industry officials and triggering the closure of several border area cattle, horse, and bison trading ports. Yes, keep in mind, this has been done before, long ago. So this is not some novel approach. This isn't the Bill Gates pseudoscience. This is something that's been done before, actually. This sounds like a good idea, actually. I'm in support of it. If you can prevent this particular species from destroying all of our pork and beef and so forth, I think that would probably be a good idea. I think that the idea is, if not novel, at the very least, doable. They've been doing this for a number of years, and again, the last outbreak was in 2023. They managed to generally defeat it. Bobby, them worms finna illegally cross the border and burrow in Styx's asshole. That's what I'm talking about. Worms in your asshole. When they wriggle around, if you're into anal stuff, I'm sure that would probably feel pretty good. Wild Man, morning, Styx. Good morning to you. I like your avatar, by the way. The derped out dude from Harry Potter. Sigil, Trump's USDA was set to open the border to Mexico to allow screwworm-infected cattle into the U.S. until John Birch Society let a chimp out to get it stopped. The plan is now scrapped. Well, good. Yeah, I actually support bombarding them. It's sort of like if you've heard of probiotic treatment. The idea is that in like a surgical setting, normally we destroy every bacteria and virus that we can by spraying it down with chemicals and shit like that. But this no longer works, at least not 100%. So what they've thought about is actually spraying like effectively a yogurt mixture with probiotics on it. So bacteria that will attack any bacteria that would actually infect a person, spraying that around. And so basically the surgical room is like the yogurt room. And this is taken off within medical discourse. This is a serious discussion that they're actually having. I happen to be on the probiotic side generally. More studies will have to be done, of course, but it seems like overall a good idea. So by proactively, mating sterile flies with the females of the same species, you at least slow the spread, if not outright stop it. And of course, there are other things that you can do. You can use pesticides. That would be the equivalent of sterilization in a surgical setting. You can do sterilization and so forth. But unfortunately, animals do get wounds. And the screwworms will simply infest the wounds, lay their eggs, and then go off on their merry way. They exist for no other reason than to cause pain and suffering. And the USDA knew full fucking well what they were doing. They so assured us the worm wasn't a problem until people got too loud. Happens a lot with the USDA. Agreed. Copium poppies. Watch Freddy got fingered. Jesus H. Christ. Mike the Wop. Have you heard the hypothesis that hookworms are responsible for the dumb southerner trope? Pretty interesting. No, I haven't heard that, no. David Lara. Going in for surgery tomorrow and would just like to say you're a good dude and your book on emotional alchemy has carried me far. Wish me luck. Peace out. Peace out to you as well, my dude. You'll be fine. By the way, I've got to go offline really quickly before I get to the archaeology story and what was the other story? The Comey Brennan investigation, actually. I'll be right back, everyone. I'm going to go offline for a second. Well, not offline, but, turn off my cam and my audio. All right, everyone, we are back. Of course, after taking the piss. I had to take a piss. Had to urinate. Captain Sticks is back. I'm kind of busy. Mike the Wop, have you heard the hypothesis that hookworms are responsible for the dumb southerner trope? Oh, I've already read that. Derp. Fireburn is here. That's what I'm talking about. Soon, I've got to make a series of videos involving MREs, actually, as well as the Oregon Trail live stream, I suppose. That'll be fun. I may not do a normal live stream tomorrow. Maybe I'll play a game of Oregon Trail, and maybe I'll fail, maybe I'll win real big. It sort of depends. I'm going to have to... Bobby Bobinson, Sticks, how much money would you need to throw that pirate hat in the trash? An incalculable amount. You wouldn't imagine how many compliments I get on this hat when I'm out in public. That will not happen. But yeah, I'll be playing Oregon Trail 2. It's much better than the first game. A lot of people haven't played it, actually. But I had it when I was young. And, God, I don't know how many hundreds of hours I played in that game. Usually the most fun part, though, was you made a journal. You could write that down at the end of each day, and or at any event. And you would write down, like, random shit. And I would write, like, terrible things, like, today, Hosea shot himself in the foot. I had to dig the bullet out. That boy ain't right, or something like that. Suzanne got lost her virginity today to a fellow wagon member. So I beat her ass with a whip. I'm hoping that she's not pregnant because that dude's not normal. Sigil, you only play on Steam, fucker. You promised us a game stream. Yeah, I'm going to play it online, and I'm going to share it out through StreamYard. Copium Poppies, missed one. Oh, shit, sorry. Watch Freddy got fingered, he says. Dying of dysentery, always a fun thing to do. Archaeologist unearths a mysterious Christian settlement hidden away for centuries. Uncovers church ruins, mosaics, and artifacts at site believed to be a long-lost settlement. This is from the Byzantium era, by the way. The archaeologist believes he's uncovered the ancient site. This is Musallam al-Rawaneh. I think I'm probably pronouncing that roughly correctly. Believes he's uncovered the ancient site of Thrace, guided by the enigmatic Madaba map, a remarkable mosaic that has puzzled historians for centuries. Speaking to Fox News Digital, al-Rawaneh said he located the site near the Jordanian village of El Iraq in an area known as Ain al-Khala. Though the site was lost to obscurity, the historian said the once thriving settlement was strategically located along trade routes to the southeastern Dead Sea region. Yeah, they've got a Christian church, an oil press, and dozens of other structures, actually, that they have unearthed. It's interesting. The archaeological research basically relied upon one mosaic. It was a mosaic, effectively a map, showing roughly the location of this particular ruin, or what became a ruin. Was abandoned around 700 AD, and then was populated thereafter by Islamists, actually. But they found it, and they've unearthed it, and then they've made it into a tourist trap, which is not surprising. I'm still waiting for more updates from Göbekli Tepe, actually. One of the oldest comprehensive ruins in the entire world, which originally they thought was a fairly good-sized temple. Now they've realized, oh shit, these other mounds that are around Göbekli Tepe, those are also temples too. So this shows a level of organization, sophistication, that should not have existed at that time, according to the current archaeological timeline, generally speaking. Sigil, watch Bobby's asshole get fingered. Cultivated mind. The only thing you win in Oregon Trail is dysentery. Oh, Oregon Trail. Yeah. Yeah, I've never played Oregon Trail, but I've played Oregon Trail and got very, very good at it, actually. I'm wondering if I still have it in me. You'll get to see that live. Sorry, the trees have been fucking each other, so I'm a little bit hoarse at the moment. Yep, the pine trees are unleashing their sperm load, and they're fucking me in the throat. Tarred and Feathered, play Hexen instead. I loved Hexen as a kid. I usually play it as the cleric, actually. I realize that the starting weapon is not that impressive. It's you don't kill enemies as fast in close range as the warrior, and you don't have a distance weapon. But once you get up there, once you have the ability to pretty much rip people's souls out, yeah, with Wraith Verge, yeah, it works pretty well. Yeah, Wraith Verge of the three, like, ultimate level weapons was definitely the best. Blood Scourge was okay, and Quietus was okay too. I mean, they have their benefits. But Wraith Verge, you fire off 4 or 5 shots at Korax, and there's just like an army of ghosts around him, like siphoning his blood, basically. And he's just standing there not knowing what the fuck to do, basically. It was difficult, though, to get to that level. It was easiest with the mage, because you started off with a distant weapon. And once you got the pieces of armor and stuff like that, it was fairly straightforward. And you could just, pot shot the enemies at a distance, and it was pretty easy. With the warrior, you were much more durable, and so you could just fall in and just punch the shit out of everyone. With the cleric at earlier levels, it was easily the hardest. Once you got Wraith Verge, though, it was really, really simple, because as long as you had enough mana, you could always just fire off an army of ghosts at your enemies, and they would just zoom around and, go crazy, basically. Spike, don't you just love cum trees? Yeah, I love it when the trees are coming on one another. Yes, it's very, very fun. Never had that problem in the Netherlands. They've got nary a pine tree anywhere in the eastern side of the nation. Zigzag. Freddy got fingered, shakes the clown. Roadside Prophets and Nothing But Trouble should be required viewing. I've watched Nothing But Trouble. I really, really like that movie, by the way. Had great fun with that. I like the one where he's got like the, what was it? He had like the little train track on the table, and the food was on the train track, and he was just like, nibbling off of it or something. I can't exactly remember. I'll have to watch it again. Mike the Womp, what's your favorite way of cooking chicken of the woods? I figure just butter, salt, and pepper. I'm grabbing some the next time I stumble across it. I would chop it up fairly fine and saute it with a lot of butter. Bobby, is that for when you off yourself because you can't get any women like you said a while back? I have no problem in that particular field. If anything, the problem is the inverse. Sigil, for some reason, Styx keeps standing in pollen clouds with his head back and tongue out moaning. Not sure why. Yeah, I know, it's a big problem. DOJ's criminal investigation of Comey and Brennan is a warning. MSNBC, of course, with a little bit of propaganda here. Talking about the ongoing investigation into Comey and Brennan, who both were, in regards to the Steele dossier, let's say, not doing their job. Hey, we've got this dossier that we have every reason to believe is completely false, totally fabricated. Let's make sure that it gets to the public. And let's say nothing about it. In fact, we'll sign on to a letter saying that it's real. Well, it was real, it's just that it was fabricated by the Hillary Clinton campaign. This is highly abnormal, and Brennan and Comey are probably not particularly pleased about the fact that they're being investigated. Thankfully for them, they've got one good thing to their name, which is that the congressional Republicans that have to take the fore on such investigations aren't going to do anything. Comey will remain free. Brennan will remain free. We already know how this is going to play out. They're not going to get into any trouble. There's nothing that's going to be done about it. It will die effectively in committee. And Trump will let the issue go because he realizes, hey, there's other things that I have to do. That's exactly what's going to happen. Well, Bobby, if you don't actually mention the other person, I have no idea who you're talking to. It's all good, my man. Fireburn, did you talk about the alleged amnesty? That's related to migrant labor. Am I in support of it? No. To be clear, I am not in support of the Trump administration's plan to effectively legalize some of the migrants. I'm not in favor of that. Is it all illegals that they're talking about? No. You had the Battle of MacArthur Park literally just the other day in Los Angeles, which was funny. I reported on that. They had a bunch of horsebound National Guard members actually marching through the park, and Karen Bass was rambling about, oh, there were kids playing there. It's like, yeah, they're playing amongst the heroin dealers and the human traffickers. What a wonderful park. How great. Amazing. And one of them was actually carrying a U.S. flag at one point. So I thought it was a little bit of a show of force style display. Sigil, something can happen. Insert Fed post here. It's the only way something will happen. Yeah, be careful because there are people that are telling you, hey, your attention span should be shorter. Your patience should be brought to an end. Here's a pipe bomb, kid. Inland Surfer. Göbekli Tepe excavation has been put on hold for decades, reason being the anticipation of better future excavation technology, sadly. Current preservation structures have been damaging to the site. Oh, that sucks. I thought they were still excavating, actually. And all you have to do is get a shovel. It's not that difficult. Karen Bass isn't mentally well, says Mark. Yeah, what a revelation. Yeah. Yeah, Karen Bass is... her first name is very, very much apt. Let's put it that way. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's like she's like Joe Biden if Joe Biden didn't need dementia to be dumb. Bobby says to Mike the Wop, you literally told everyone you gave up on women and you're gonna off yourself in the woods someday, LMAO. Who the fuck would be jealous of a loser like that? And Mike the Wop retorts, I love the hate. At least it'll stop them from distracting the host. Well, yeah, but now we're on the Bant stream at the moment, so it's all good. Copium Poppies. After barbecuing the other day, yeah, I realized that making coleslaw is cheap and filling. I'm going to see how long I can go eating nothing but coleslaw and pork chops. Been eating it for days and still not sick of it. I am an extreme fan of coleslaw, but it has to be made the right way. I had a coleslaw once when I was a kid. I've never been able to replicate it. I can make a decent coleslaw, right? But I don't know exactly how they formulated it, but it was like the best coleslaw I've had in my life. It was at some deli down in Brattleboro, and we had subs too, and shit like that. And I remember we were going to my aunt's house, and I was just eating it on the way, right? And it was delicious. It was amazing. It was like the coleslaw was infused with crack, or something like that. Coleslaw is amazing. Yeah, we're going to be doing some fucking Oregon Trail later, if I can figure it out. It'd be hilarious. Hopefully my entire party gets dysentery and they all shit themselves to death or something like that. That would be funny. Maybe I'll deliberately kill them off by starving them or something like that. Hey, hey, more meat for me. Michael, life-size Sticks plushie with self-warming holes when? That will not happen, my friend. Sigil, at some point with ancient ruins, we're just gonna have to say fuck it and dig them up while making notes later reconstruction. We can dig them up and learn or learn nothing at all. I don't know. I think that ancient ruins, at least if they're reasonably intact, they become tourist destinations, so they tend to be positive for the nation. Spider Eternal, most coleslaw is made terribly. No flavor at all, just soggy mush. Yeah, that's been my unfortunate experience. I make a decent coleslaw, and I've had plenty of decent coleslaws. But that one that I had that one time was so perfect, so amazing, and I've never been able to replicate it. I continue trying. It's sort of like, and Nick will back me up on this one. Sometimes he comments, actually, in chat. We had this teacher called Mrs. Rayford. She's retired now. Apparently still alive, actually, which is great. I hope she has a long and fruitful life. She's a great lady. She could get grumpy at times, but great teacher, you know? You get one of those teachers, 1 in 100 years, that is just really dedicated. Great woman. But she basically insinuated, you know, you don't have to come over here to study for the AP test extra, but you should probably come over and study for the AP test extra. It would be advisable. It's basically like, you know, maybe I'll punch you in the face if you don't. And a lot of people got really high scores in that course, by the way. I got a 5 out of 5, and I was very, very happy about that. And she would bring us over to her house, and it was voluntary, but literally everyone went. There was a reason for that. And I didn't expect this, but the first time we were over there, she brings out this gigantic pan of lasagna, which was expertly made. Way better than the lasagna I can make. And she brought out another pan with a huge amount of garlic bread. I have tried in vain to reverse engineer the garlic bread. I came close with the last batch. I came very close. And it was very, very good. But it wasn't Mrs. Rayford good. I don't know what she did to make the garlic bread. There's something missing in my particular recipe. I think it needs more butter and oil. And I think it needs to go just a little bit longer. And then have more Parmesan on the top. I think that that's what I need to do. But I made it like 9/10 of the way towards Mrs. Rayford's garlic bread. And I found this to be hilarious because I'm like, shit. You know, I almost reverse engineered one of the best things that I've ever tasted in my fucking life. She could cook like a boss. You wouldn't believe it. You need lots of butter, lots of olive oil, huge amount of garlic, although I think she used the garlic powder as opposed to fresh, which I actually agree with. It was just delicious. I mean, I was like, the next time that we went over, she didn't cook the garlic bread, she only cooked the pasta. And I was like disappointed because I'm like, oh, come on, man. Corn Pop's got some good garlic bread, man. Bobby Bobbitson, tons of Bovrite. Yeah, that doesn't go in garlic bread. Trust me, I can make some good, you know, salsa and pasta and all sorts of things. I can make all sorts of soups. I can make food really well. But Mrs. Rayford, for some reason, she just naturally knew how to make garlic bread perfect. If you sold that in a store, that store would end up getting like a line of 100 people just for the fucking garlic bread. It was delicious. Sigil, you meet another Wagoneer. He says his name is Terry. You say, Terry? That's a girl's name. He shoots you. You die. You have died of dysentery. Mexican Trumper, MSG inflames the brain. Yeah, don't use monosodium glutamate. It's a bad idea. Yeah, I wish more than anything right now that I had a bowl of homemade marinara sauce, which I can make very, very well. I can make a 10 out of 10 marinara. And some of Mrs. Rayford's garlic bread. Then we would really have a feast stream. It's like I'm surrounded by people who make good food. Like my dad was a chef for more than 30 years, working at the Mountain Creamery. He can make all sorts of soups, all sorts of sandwiches, basically anything. Makes it really good. My mom bakes really well. She made blueberry muffins the other day, actually. And oh boy, the smell. When I woke up and I went into the kitchen, I'm like, holy shit, something smells amazing. And I go out and I talk to her and I'm like, what smells so good? What the hell are you making? And she's like, oh, you'll see. And so I'm going to have one of those later. What you do is you make it extra hot and then you melt butter on it. And I've been with multiple people who have worked in the restaurant industry. And then I got the cooking gene too. It was belated, but finally I realized, hey, I'm actually good at cooking. I can make soups. I can make sandwiches. I can make, weird old recipes from Tasting History, which, by the way, another channel that you need to patronize, and so on and so forth. And so I've been surrounded. I've been a little bit spoiled when it comes to food. Doug209, pizza. Yeah, I can make pizza. I can't make the crust, but I mix my own sauce. I'm capable of preparing my own toppings. I know how to layer the cheese properly, which is something that apparently a lot of people cannot do, actually. If you overload the pizza, it's going to be a little bit of a problem. Roberto, Tuesday is the day. Will sticks stay or go away? We shall see. Inland Surfer, do you have access to sublime Vermont dairy goods? Yes, indeed. They're all over the place. We are a dairy state. Sort of like a miniaturized version of Wisconsin, actually. Spike, have you ever had an unusual song or not your style of music resync your brain? For some reason, Tate McRae just keep me watching, refocuses my head with day trading, and I'm having good days again. Yes, actually. For instance, I look at Dear Alcohol by Dax, but it's the supercut. Mike the Womp, do you use San Marzano tomatoes for your marinara? It doesn't matter what kind of tomatoes you use, you just have to mix it properly. I like it to be a little bit on the rustic side, so when I cook it off, like the tomatoes, the chunks sort of bleed out, but I sort of cut them into quarters, then slice them across, usually cherry tomatoes, and then they're in eighths, and I'll retain that sort of rustic-ness to them. Dax does not suck ass, Bobby. Come on. Spider Eternal, ever make your own yogurt from raw milk? Phenomenal stuff. No, but I have made paneer. And you can turn that into cottage cheese, actually, so it's not really that difficult. Salt it and, re-wet it, basically. Mexican Trumper, clank that thumb. Adios, Patris. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Sigil, LMAO, check the tweet I just DM'd. Let me check. Assuming that it loads. Italian Special Operations hitters, final preparations before delivering the coup de grace to Iran's nuclear program. Oh, and it's a dude doing gymnastics while playing with pizza. Hey, that dude's no joke, you know, if you had something made of metal that you were using like that, that could be deadly. Dude can even throw the pizza around with his feet. Thank you, Sigil. That's pretty cool, actually. Keep real. What's your honest thoughts on Trump Epstein files? Trump realizes that probably most of the file material has been destroyed and the rest of it is pertinent to ongoing investigations, and there's not really anything that he can do with it. That being said, there should be a deeper dig investigation into the Epstein files. I blame mainly Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and Pam Bondi for this situation. But I do blame Trump in the sense that, hey, you know, most of your hirings like Lee Zeldin, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., etc., those were good hires. Way better than your first term. But you really, really fucked up with regards to the FBI and DOJ. You need to get better people in there. You need to fire these people and put new people in their places. Keep real. Oh, I just read that one. Derp. Bobby Bobinson. Atheism sucks and is retarded and gay. That's why I'm an apatheist, actually. I don't believe in theism or atheism. I have my own spiritual beliefs, which will become evident possibly in the coming week. No, Bobby, apatheism means I don't care. It's impossible to answer the question within the limitations of your finite physical form. It only has so much processing power. It's only capable of doing so many things. I've got other things that I have to do. JL, Trump is on the Epstein list. He would have sued Elon if not. Well, let's put on our lawyer hats. Elon Musk comes out and says, Trump is on the Epstein list. Well, which list is he referring to? If it's the flight list, he is fundamentally correct. Absolutely. That's not defamation. We know that Trump took the, Epstein Express, so to speak. We know it from the flight logs. Elon could simply come out in a court, if he were queried, and say, I was referring to the flight logs. I don't know what you're talking about. Plausible deniability. Plausible deniability at its best. You'd be surprised at how the legal system works within the United States. He could come out and say, all I was referring to is the fact that he's on the flight logs. So it's right there. It's public information. Well, not guilty, because he is on that list. He may not be on the visitors list to Epstein Island, and I don't believe that he is, but he is on the flight list. There you go. You've got to understand how the legal system works, and this is why if you ever get arrested, don't say a fucking word. Don't say jack shit. It's a bad idea. You can get hanged by your own words very easily, even if you're a wordsmith. You can, I would speak from experience. But Epstein, yeah, I don't believe that Trump went there. He didn't need to go to Epstein Island in order to get laid. He's fucking Donald Trump. I mean, come on, dude. He sees someone attractive in Trump Hotel and says, yeah, you want a free experience? You can have a week. Yeah, let me get you a drink. And something like that. Doug, what evidence was seen in the Ghislaine trial? Well, we know that Ghislaine trafficked a lot of people. We just don't know who was trafficked to who. She got in trouble for trafficking a bunch of people to other people that didn't exist, apparently. Makes a lot of sense. Tard with a hard R. He married the hottest Russian money could buy. I believe that Melania is actually from Slovenia and speaks 4 languages. We're not saying that she's untalented. I mean, quite clearly, she is a trophy wife. Let's put it plainly. But she is not an untalented one. Sticks by her son, raises him, speaks 4 languages, very intelligent, knows, sort of what to do naturally. She's very, very smart. She's the sort of wife that every man should ascribe for. Brad Armstrong, a drink? Ho, 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 and a bottle of rum. No, a bottle of water in this particular case. Why is everyone talking about the Y2K bug? That's like the 3rd time I've seen it mentioned. Double R star. Trump's wife is smoking hot, although I doubt they're screwing. Yeah, I mean, she's probably got her own dudes, and he screws around too. Melania clearly knows this. I mean, do you genuinely think that they got married without an understanding, hey, look, I love you, you got my back, I got your back, I pay for your shit, and you back me, but at the same time, sometimes my penis finds its way in other orifices. Of course that's their arrangement. It's the same with the Clintons. It's a power couple. Sigil, the Miranda rights should be reversed to make them clear. Nothing you say can or will be used to help you in a court of law. Yeah, if you choose to talk to the police, as is my experience, sometimes it can hang you legally, even if you haven't actually broken any laws. It doesn't matter, though. Doug, was there ever any sex with the Clintons? I guarantee that they fucked. Yeah. Chelsea is definitely their daughter. She looks way too much like Hillary Clinton to not be related, at least to her. That being said, I have a feeling it's been a while since they've done the thing. I think it's more like Hillary says, okay, Bill is going to fuck everything that moves when he can. But he's giving me a shit ton of money. I've got political power. Who gives a shit, basically. And Bill is like, Hillary's a bitch. But at the same time, she's a bitch that has my back and will overlook my obvious failings. So, who gives a shit? That's basically their marriage. Ultimately, it's probably the best form of marriage that you can have. Spike, from my own experiences, having a good wife can make or break you, also having the better lawyer in a messy divorce. Yeah. Recon Jones, I guarantee that Bill Clinton is actually the biological father. You can see it. You think that Bill would get with a woman that he wasn't fucking? There was still this one clip from long ago. Bill Clinton goes to a whiskey tasting, right? And there's this young, relatively attractive woman that hands him the shot of whiskey. And he drinks it down, and he's like, whew, oh, ha. And he puts his hand on her shoulder and does the schmoozing thing. And I've never been able to find it again. I can't remember where it was, or actually when it was, but he clearly was doing the schmoozy thing. He's like, oh man, this whiskey is really good. Do you want to come to bed with me? Something like that. Hillary probably saw that clip and flipped out at that point. Like, Bill, you're doing it again. You get yourself in trouble. What the fuck is wrong with you? I have a feeling that being Hillary Clinton, oddly enough, is way more difficult than being Bill Clinton. I think she probably corrals him at certain points. She's like, Bill, you've had one too many. Bill, you've had one too many girls. Bill, come on to bed. Just fucking lay down and fucking fall asleep. I have a feeling that that's basically their relationship. But, yeah, there was that one instance with the whiskey tasting, and Bill Clinton was totally schmoozing it up. You can't tell me he wasn't flirting with the woman who gave him the shot. And she was like nervously laughing, like hee hee hee, hee and stuff like that. Bobby, Styx is not going to jail. Oh, now the quartering put a bounty on my head last night. I'm sure. Yeah, of course. That makes a lot of sense. I'm not particularly worried. Quartering's my bro, and I will have his back. Back to back at the gates of hell, I will defend him, because he had my back. It's hard with the hard R. No one even mentioned the coke yet. Yeah, Bill Clinton liked that too. So did JFK. Ronald Reagan probably used it too. Let's face it, the immediate drug warrior probably was using a few drugs. Just saying. Turtle's Toy Box. Quartering did call you a sloppy drunk, though. You, by the way, had a misspelling there, making you look like a sloppy drunk. That's fine. It's alright. It's his show. It's his choice. I'm not gonna go up against the dude. I'm not interested in backstabbing the people that I'm associated with, especially when they've done me one hell of a solid. It will never happen. They can be assured that I'm the one person that will not do that. Grouper Fist, you're fucking stupid. He fired you for being fucking drunk on stream. Which I wasn't, actually. But yet, when the guy gets drunk and comes on his own stream with his audience calling him out, you're a fucking moron. He had my back when I needed bail. I don't give a shit what he does on his own show. I don't give a shit if he's wasted. I don't give a shit if he smokes crack on his own goddamn live stream. If you think that you're going to start some kind of a sibling rivalry or something between me and the quartering, that is not going to happen, my man. I don't care if he was drunk on his stream. Haven't seen it, don't care. He's an adult. Is he not allowed to imbibe alcohol? I don't give a shit if he uses heroin live on stream. He's like, hey, just a minute, everyone. Oh, yeah, that feels really great. Yeah, man, I got that heroin up in me. Who cares? It's not my channel. He's also not the host anymore on anything that I'm doing, so why the fuck am I going to call him out? Fuck that shit. I don't give a shit if he's drunk every day. I don't care if he uses hard drugs. I don't care if he has, like, if he goes Destiny mode and has, like, a couple of pimp princesses or something like that on the live stream. I'm not going to call him out. I'm not going to pay any attention to that. He bailed me out. He had my back when nobody else could. Sith22, Jeremy is a bro, and I'm sure you are too. These people trying to start shit between you two are fags. Yep, agreed. Like, if he's really back on the bottle in something, I hope that he gets better, but I mean, why am I gonna judge the dude? The fuck? Yeah, I'm really in a position to judge based on my situation. Yeah, that's gonna happen. Sigil, get a hold of Sleazy and smoke crack on Steam. Smoke crack playing Oregon Trail, hardest difficulty. Smoke another rock every time you die. Ah, shit. I might eat, like, seal meat or something like that. Inland Surfer, Nancy Reagan was rumored Hollywood's throat goat. Yeah, Nancy Reagan was a little bit weird. She also did seances in the White House. Talked about that the other day. Kobe and Bobby, Sticks, check your DMs. You said you can make pizza, but the crust is an issue. Gave me a possible reason and solution. I do not know how to make a pizza crust, although I do know someone who has worked in a pizzeria and does know how to do so, which is great. Now we just need to get a wood-fired oven, I suppose. But I can make the sauce. I can easily prepare the toppings. And you have to layer the cheese the right way if you want the pizza to be proper. I've done this hundreds of times before. Yeah, B-Nick. Nancy Reagan did everybody and trapped Reagan with a baby. No, she was clearly happy with being with Ronald Reagan. Like when that time when he did the parachuting, when he was already old and semi-demented, she was like running out there waiting to grab him and stuff like that. She clearly loved him. I think most of these power couples really do love each other. The problem is that they're dysfunctional. And so you end up with a situation like with the Clintons. Hillary knows that Bill is cheating on her. Bill knows that Hillary is fomenting things behind closed doors. But they work together as a team. And that's really what matters. To them, at least. And so they're very, very happy. They're in the lap of luxury. Oh, Sigil, you keep saying Steam whenever I type stream. Is it a Vermont thing? No, I meant stream. I apologize for that. Yeah, there will be Oregon Trail too. The problem is I have to figure out how to actually cast it properly. I'll probably bring it into the bedroom and I'll do it in there. That way I can see it a little bit better. Could bring the whole rig in, but that would take a little bit of time. Just saying. God, we've been live for almost an hour and a half. The Lady Cara, there is an easy recipe for pizza crust on the back of instant yeast packets sold in the bakery section at Aldi's. Came out solid for me. Good for calzones, too. I do like a good calzone. Huh. There is an Aldi's locally. We're gonna see Sticks in bed. Hope he wears something sexy. I'll wear a robe and nothing else. Copium poppies. Yeah, it's an issue with Heim ovens not getting hot enough. I've never had a homemade pizza crust that tasted right and or had the right texture. A brick wood fire oven would be necessary and cast iron pan. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I can make my own sauce. I can easily prepare my own toppings and the cheese and everything else. Balance that perfectly. I've done it before. I can make a 10 out of 10 pizza with this. The problem is I don't know how to make my own crust, basically. Angela Sky. Clank from Hawaii. Here's a tinfoil hat take. The cover-up on Epstein's list was agreed upon to not go public by those in power, or the elites, in order for Trump's recent Middle East wins. Just a thought. Huh. That actually makes some sense, actually. It's possible. Spider Eternal. I used to work for a pizza wizard. The trick is to cook the pizza in an oven between 600 and 660, depending on how often you open the door to rotate. Most residential ovens can't do that temperature, though. Good advice, thank you. Sigil. Wear the pirate hat over your dong and nothing else. That would be fun. Hey, man. No, I'd love to learn how to make like a pizza crust, um, like the dough. I can make everything else. It's not that difficult. Making a sauce is actually really, really easy. It sort of depends on whether you want it rustic or whether you want it fully blended and you want it more like the liquefied marinara style. Copium poppies. Making the crust isn't an issue. Most recipes you find would be fine. It's how it's cooked. Also, cook the crust lightly before putting sauce and toppings on. That's a good idea, I think. I make a really, really good pizza. I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to humble brag. I'm just going to brag. I do make good pizza. But I've always used pre-made crusts because uh, making the crust itself, it sounds, number one, time consuming, and number two, highly skilled. Sigil, wait, I forgot. You can't wear the hat like that. Nothing to hang it on. Yeah, I love making the sauce and preparing the toppings. That's nothing. You know, black olives, fungus, whatever it happens to be. And I don't know how to do that thing that they do where they twirl it around. I'd probably rip it apart. Spider Eternal. For good pizza dough, you want to use high gluten flour, and you let it prove for 3 days. Jesus. Strategy soup. Are you sleeping better these days? I remember you had insomnia for a while. Still suffer from insomnia. Got woken up by an individual at 2:30 this morning, actually. So today, no, I did not sleep well. Bobby has sent me a message. I'm gonna try to find it. But I've got so many requested messages. It's a little bit different. I'll find it. Don't worry. Kobe and Poppy's. One thing you can do if you like thin crust pizza is take the flour tortillas, roast them lightly, and put the sauce and toppings on before baking. You can even make them in a toaster oven. And that sounds good. That's not authentic, but it sounds good. I don't know what your username is though, Bobby. I'm trying me bloody best. Fucking 10,000 groups that I'm involved with. I'm part of the Rabies Awareness Gang, one of the most efficient groups on the entire internet. Mm. Who the hell is that? Oh, I'll respond to that one. I have no idea who it is. Sometimes I get random shit from people all over the world. And, oh, there's Bobby. Yeah, okay. Hey, Bobby. Bobby. Bobby rambling about me going to jail and also messaging me on Twitter. Love the dude. You are now an automated clanker. Yeah. Anaho Dave. Breast cancer awareness groups are the best. I get pics of tits sent to me so I can be aware of them. Yes, it is important. When you're with a woman, it is important to squish their boobs and check for any nodules or anything like that. It's very important. It is exceptionally important. Since Bobby is Pajit on the interwebs, I will be Pajit too. The Wanderer sticks. Shut up. Oh, come on. We're just having a good time. It's good to have fun. Life is not actually life unless you're having fun in it. You have to work, of course. You have to do something productive. But when you're done with that work, can't you just do what you want to do? Maybe it's reading books. In my case, maybe it's writing books or editing books. Maybe it's making music. Maybe it's making jokes. Maybe it's telling fireside tales to the children or something like that. Whatever you do, yeah, you need to have a little bit of fun in life. I'm not interested in a boring life. I'd rather slice my own throat, honestly. Turtle's Toy Box. Styx deleted his stream where he examined a girl for breast cancer. Fun times, by the way. I didn't actually delete it. I removed it from YouTube. It's still up on other platforms. Bubby Bubbinson, I like the Indian accent. Do not worry. I am not insulting anyone. I actually like the accent very much. I would love to go to India. India is #1 on my bucket list, actually. I would like to go there and eat everything in sight, come to think of it. And I don't mean the tourist restaurants. Fuck those assholes. I'm not going to the tourist places. I'm going to, like, the back alleys where they, cook things that are dubiously edible. I don't give a shit if I get deli belly or something like that. I figure my guts will adjust to it in time. So it'll just make me stronger. I don't care if I shit my brains out. Who gives a fuck? I don't give a shit what's in the food. I'm just going to assume that it's reasonably edible and eat it. I would love to go to India. It's funny, the top 3 nations on my bucket list all start with an I. Iceland, Ireland, and India. I thought this was a funny coincidence. But yeah, India, I would love to go to India. Yeah, absolutely. It's not so safe for women to go there because, if you're unaccompanied, you might get raped or something like that. With a dude, you're probably fine. More of a patriarchal culture than in the West. Also, I can get some Hitler ice cream, I suppose. That would be funny. In Iceland, you're getting rotted shark. That's your main course. Then maybe you get some crowberries or something like that. In Ireland, you can get everything, but it's been boiled for 8 hours. That's the old joke about it. But it sounds good to me as a New Englander. Sigil, Stick's gonna eat food from that guy cutting strips of meat with his toenail. Yeah, hey, no, I don't give a shit. Yeah, I would say those are the big 3. I'll again start with I. I wouldn't mind seeing England. That would be fun. But I'm more interested in Ireland than England. Go to the pub, man. Yeah, you got to go to the pub, mate. You got to kiss the Blarney song. Hey, kiss the Blarney Stone, you have a good luck. That would be funny. I wouldn't mind kissing the Blarney Stone. That would be fun. I imagine there's a line 10,000 people long to actually do so, though, so might take a little while. Oh, Jabberjaw, I like to poop outside in India. Yeah, give me a little bit of toilet paper and I'll go to the designated shitting street. That's perfectly fine. Yeah, India, Iceland, and Ireland. Those are the three big ones. And Japan, of course. Sigil, you see that new video from the Taliban? It starts like an execution video with a dude with a bag over his head. The terrorists say, "We have one message for America." Continues next rant. No, I haven't actually. Let's see what this is about. As far as shitting in the street, who gives a fuck? As long as it's the designated street where you know that there's going to be human shit, I don't know. I don't know that I care. Firebird, I give a fuck because I'm not a fucking disgusting pig. Yeah, but, you know, shitting outside, is that really a sin? Copium Poppies, our bassist kissed the Blarney Stone and got herpes. This is believable, by the way. The dude under the bag then says, "Welcome to Afghanistan!" And it's a tourist promotional for US citizens. And never kiss the Blarney Stone. People piss on top of it. Oh. Okay, well, I guess I won't kiss the Blarney Stone. But I still want to visit Ireland. I love food that's been boiled for 8 hours. Some people make a joke about it and say, like, you know, it's terrible food because of the way they cook it. I'm more like, you know, sign me up. Well, that sounds delicious. Cabbage boiled for like 6 hours alongside some beef and shit like that? Yeah, baby. Oh, the food all around the world. I wish I could take a day and like be like Superman or something like that and just go to every country that had food that we would consider, you know, abnormal and just eat it all. And like I could eat an unlimited amount. Honestly, that would be one of my life's greatest adventures if I could pull it off. Including Ireland, by the way. Steven Smirnow, corned beef. Oh, I love corned beef. Harrison Bergeron, cabbage cooked too long, tastes and smells like sulfur. Yeah, you gotta be gentle with it. You gotta boil it the right way. Otherwise, yeah, it gets a little bit weird. The Wanderer, Tarl, bring India to Vermont. There are 2 Indian restaurants, actually, here. And an Asian market. Mike the Wop, I wonder if Irish food sounds good to you because it's the similar distance from the equator. Maybe cold climates prefer boiled. It's easier. You throw everything in the pot and you just put in the seasoning and the salt and everything else, and then you just let it sort of season for 6 or 7 hours. By the way, please send no more super chats. We're running up on 2 hours, actually. Sigil Stone, to kiss the Blarney Stone, you have to hang out a window while someone holds you. This is not an officially allowed thing. The Irish piss on it to fuck with the tourists. Sounds fun to me. Bobby, Sticks, Jeremy just said that he's gonna pay Sticks $1 million if you go to India and don't come back. Thoughts? I mean, goddamn, if he was gonna give me $1 million, he could live like a prince in India, but I have a feeling that's shenanigans. I like Jeremy. He's a good dude. Hell, if you want to give me $1 million, yeah, I'll move to India. That would be fun. I mean, pretty much everyone speaks English, the cost of living is low, all sorts of cool food, land prices are almost non-existent. Yeah, I'd move to India. Absolutely. That sounds like fun, actually. Maybe I'll do that. Thought about moving to Thailand as well. Bobby, no, it's real 100%. I kind of doubt that, actually. Copium poppies. If you go to Ireland, you should have a camera crew follow you and wear a leprechaun costume and make sure it's not around St. Paddy's Day. You could use the trip as a tax write-off. Theoretically, actually, you could do that. There are a lot of tax write-offs that I haven't taken, actually. Yeah, Bobby, now I know that you're full of shit. But yeah, if he were to give me $1 million to move to India, I would probably take up the offer, honestly. Hey, nothing wrong with that. You mean I can eat lentils every day? Lentils and spicy shit with lots of curry? Sign me up. Again. Anyways, I'll be back tomorrow. I do not know whether I'll do the live stream, actually, tomorrow. I probably will, but I'm not 100% sure. And of course, on the weekend, I don't do live streams. So, we covered the news and so forth. And I will be back, my friends. We've gone almost 2 hours. I will try to get a stream rigged up for Oregon Trail. I'm going to have to do a test, though, beforehand, just to make sure that it actually works. Alright, that's about all. Peace out.